Hey friends, I made that video on making your own acrylic metallic paint the other day, and somebody said, well, what about glitter? And I think it's going to be about the same thing, but let's test it out. I went to Hobby Lobby and got this really pretty glitter. It is extra fine in the color Wisteria. It was $1.99. I'm in the US. And it even has like this nice little pepper shaker thing where you can just dump it out really easily. So I'm going to put some out here. Oh my gosh, it's so sparkly and pretty. And then I'm going to take my gloss heavy gel from Liquitex. This is the same stuff that I used in the last video. And I'm going to grab some of this, not a ton, and let's see what happens. I'm just going to mix this up. I don't work with glitter paints very often, just because it's usually not the look that I'm going for, but I obviously do love glitter. Who doesn't? So let's see what happens here. This is really dulled the finish of the super sparkly glitter, but we need to make a suspension so that the glitter will hold. If you just took glitter and put it in a jar of water, or even in a jar of, or in a container with some gloss medium, eventually all that glitter, just like the mica powder, would fall to the bottom and you'd have to mix it up, and then you've got bubbles, and well, we all know how that looks. Let's close up here. Yeah, still super pretty. Let's see what happens when we put in some pouring medium. And I've got this in like a ketchup bottle from the dollar store, so I can just add a little bit at a time. This stuff is very messy, I don't know why. Let's see here. I did notice the glitter is sticking to my palette paper quite a bit. And I think this is probably going to be pretty similar to the paint we made with mica, but we're talking about bigger chunks. So I want to see how this winds up in a dot and how it dries. And add a little bit more. And I am using palette paper and a palette knife that I got at Dick Art Supplies, or Blick Art Supplies here in the Twin Cities. Okay, that's pretty cool, but it's definitely still too thick to dot, so I'm just going to keep adding. Pouring medium until I get it how I want it. Get all the lumps out. It's still pretty thick. I like it when I can see the glitter or the mica moving as I use it to paint. It's kind of the consistency that I like. That's pretty close. You can see it's kind of spreading out there a little bit. All right, back this up. And I have got some black paper that we can test this out on. And I usually paint on black, so I like to test things out on black paper, but I also wanted to put it on some purple paint. This is Purple Rain, and because that's about the closest color to this glitter, and then we'll see what happens when we put it on white. So there it is on black. And I can already see that that's pretty transparent. Let's put it on the white and see what you think. Also very transparent. If I put it on the purple, it looks pretty good though. Now as this dries, that kind of bluish finish is gonna dry clear. So I'm gonna dot a little bit more on here and we'll let it dry and we'll come back and see how it looks. I'm gonna add some more glitter and see if we can do a second set and see if we can tell the difference. Since we're dealing with larger pieces of material with glitter rather than mica, you can see the spaces between it much more easily. Okay, let's try it on our paper. Okay, I'm not super happy with that peak on there because the paint is now thicker. So it doesn't run quite as well, but we'll let it dry and see what happens. Okay, we are back and this is pretty dry. It's been maybe an hour and a half. And I went through and added glitter and then more glitter and then more glitter to see what happened. This one is probably the best in my opinion. This is the one that's over purple. And then this is over white and you can really see in there, hopefully, hang on, let's see if we can zoom in. You can really see that that white is coming through. And then on these others that are just on the black paper, you can see that top one is, you can see where it's shiny and that's where the actual paint is. But it's pretty chunky. So even though this is an extra fine glitter, according to the brand, I think this is pretty heavy. So that's what happened. This is not paint that I would really want to paint with because it is chunky and it's raised in a not very cute way, I guess. And to get the color impact that you want, you have to add so much glitter that if you were to thin it more using pouring medium, it just doesn't look very good. So not my favorite, but a fun experiment, and I hope you give it a try too.